Okay, so welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full disassembly of this Glock 27 Gen 4. This is a double stack 40 Smith & Wesson Glock pistol. And I just wanted to do a breakdown on this because my last video I did the breakdown on my 43, and I want to show you a few key differences between the older Gen 4 versions of Glocks and the newer versions of Glocks. So to begin with, we're going to take this pistol and we are going to make it clear and safe. So we're going to drop the magazine and we're going to remove that. Then going to lock the slide of the rear. We're going to show that there's no ammunition in there whatsoever. Now we do have to depress the trigger in order to remove the slide. There we go. Now we have both the slide and the lower there for you, and we can further take this apart to field strip it. There we go. Now we can start with either the upper or lower. We'll start with the lower right here just so I can show you some of the differences. Most of the differences are actually in the lowers with the old and new generations. So we just got to push these pins out. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get this pin. Kind of helps to pull up and down on the slide release sometimes. There we go. Now, there goes the slide release there. So the slide releases is one of the first differences I've noticed with the old and new ones. Here's one on my 43. So as you can see, they got rid of this little bar right here and they moved to a smaller spring. So that's one of the differences. Not really a lot, but it's different. You can't really, these aren't really interchangeable. I mean, no, the parts with the Gen 4 double stack pistols are going to be interchangeable with the single stack. Anyway, let's move on. Let's take apart the trigger assembly here. Come on. There we go. Now, one of the parts that are different here is this spring here. Now, let me show you what they're doing on some of these single stack pistols. As you see, they got rid of that spring, and instead it's this little lever contraption that they have in here that you have to push out. Much different. I think this might be a little bit nicer, maybe a little bit better. There are more parts, but it just looks like it might just be mechanically a little bit more functional. Pull that out and show you. So that's what is on the new single stack pistols. And that's what's on the old Gen 4, Gen 3, Gen 2, Gen 1. Alright, so we can get this out of the way and we can pop these out. Gotta use my smaller punch for that one. Ooh, that's in there. I've been taking this apart for a while, so Let's see if we can get that out. Yep. There we go. Got the ejector out. And that's it. Now, the only other major difference between the lower here and the new version of the lower, let me grab the other one here, is the slide release is a lot different. So this is a new slide release, this is the old slide release. Now they have this little bar underneath here that kind of acts like a spring that pushes this up. On the new ones here, they have a spring underneath here. And if you're wondering what that looks like, you can look at my last video that I posted and I take that out and I show you. But right now I'm just going to take this one out and show you. So we just push down on that bar. Slide release comes out. Now try and pull that out for you. And there it is. See if we can get that focus a little bit better. And that's it. The lower is now disassembled except for the mag release there. Show you that. All we got to do is just push this little pin over and use some pliers, pull it out, and this whole thing will come apart, come right out. I can set that aside. And let's now disassemble our upper here. So we do this by pushing down on the channel liner, taking off this rear plate. Set that aside because we're going to further disassemble that. And we got our little plunger here. Pretty much the exact same on the other ones, except they changed this piece up to being a black instead of white. Not really sure why, but okay. Let's get the extractor out there. Extractor. This plunger and the spring. And your upper is now stripped except for the sights. I'm not going to take the sights off just because I don't have any ammo for this. We are in the ammo apocalypse right now, as you all might know. So don't really want to take those off to try and recite that in. So we'll leave those on. Now the firing pin, all we got to do is just pull down here and careful not to let this shoot off into your eye. This spring's under a little bit of tension. There we go. And there we have it. My Glock 43 or Glock 26 is now fully disassembled. All right, let's reassemble it. Let's start with the lower half. Now first I like to put together the trigger assembly. Let me just loop this spring around here. You can see it catches on. I'm trying to get that to focus. Sorry, my camera's kind of lame. I'll get a new one once when I can afford it. But until now, you're just going to have to deal with my bad camera resolution. There we go. Now that's in there. I probably should have put on this little bar and the extractor first, but you can do either one really. You probably should do it the other way, but it works. It's right in there. Put in our ejector. Make sure that seats very well. See, that's fully in there. Now, this piece needs to be under right there. I said this in my last video. This needs to be under there. Okay, so not like that. It needs to go in like that when you drop it into your lower frame there. So just remember that. That might pop out when I lay it to the side. I'm going to put that back. If it does, now we can put on the slide release. Put in our little spring. You can't see, there is a little hole in there where our spring goes in. You can see it right there. Come on. Might take a few tries for me to get it in there. Well, it's a good thing I have a pair of pliers here to help me in situations like this. There we go. That went in there a lot easier. Now, the slide release, this part with the lip right here and this groove needs to go forward, and this smooth part needs to go aft. And it goes in this way. Okay. Right. Don't try and put it in that way. Now, just like I did with my other one, we can stick this in here and just push down on that bar. That just happened. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I am back. That didn't fly off too far away. It landed in my little parts bin I have in front of me, but that's okay. Let's get this in here now. There we go. That's in there. Now we can drop the rest. This, like I said before, make sure that's under there. Put our slide stop in. And now we can put our pins through. Put this one in this way. Cut on there. This longer one goes in the top. Sometimes you might get this little lever right here, this little spring. Let's see. kind of catching onto there. You might need to just push that down a little bit. That's on the slide release. So if it doesn't go all the way in there, just give that a little bit of pressure and it should wobble in there real good. Okay, that is in. It's actually in a little bit further this side. Let's try and even that out a bit. Okay, that looks a lot better. And the rear one. And don't worry about that, that's just my parts bin. There we go. Now our lower is all done. Now we can put back together our upper. Now first, I feel like we should probably put back together the firing spring assembly. See, I already got a punch out here. Put it in there. Just so you know, the reason why I'm doing this is because if we do it this way and you try and pull down on that, your firing pin usually likes to drop, so you have to push this a lot farther down. So this is why I like to put that there so that our firing pin holds still. We can pull that all the way down. Okay, half of that on. And that is now reassembled. Get some of our other parts out here. Now this plunger, unlike the other one, is round all the way around, so we can really put this in either way. There's no right or wrong way to really get this in. We just don't want this spring to come out while we put it in, so I like to just kind of take it and put it in like this. See in there that the spring is in there. We can hold that in. Put our ejector there in. And it's on there. The fire control pin back in. Put this plunger back in. Now all we need to do is push down on that and push down on that. Now we, of course, put our barrel and guide rod in. Recoil spring. Perform a function check. Things seems to be working fine. And that is it. That is my Glock 27 breakdown. Stay tuned for more breakdowns on other firearms in the future.